Rajambayana, Zobe Sanje Ribata, Yazonde, Devareshavan Jidin, Jimba, Jivun Duvia Kanoju, Lana Valhada, Minam Jedimba, Sanje Jimden, Bejawa Shayato, Vana Sazen, Chodo Jasuch, Demba Jimden, and the Jenshavan Rajambayana, Zobe Sanje Ribata, Shazon, Demba, Devaresh, Jidin, Jimba, Jivun Duvia Kanoju, Lana Tathāgata Menamje Dhamma Sanje Jumden Debejo Shaja Tubala Sazelo Chedu Jasochi Dhamma Jumden Dishin Sheva Dashumba Yatava Sobesa Rivada Shazun Dhamma Devarishavan Chidin Jamba Jibunde Kalo Jivalana Meva Hada Menamje Sanje Jumden Debejo Shaja Tubala Sazelo Chedu Jasochi Kanse Kanye Zowa Chedu Sajin Dhamma Kumbha Manen Jiden Dena George so de Keva Jama Cha Namda Gunga Chodo Susanwa Yishi Janto Seje Chawan Jiden Suna Lame Gombo Chunye Jama Cha Senjo Demba Jimen Davishi Sendo Jawa Jama Cha De Rejana Seva Suma Jia Nyame Tenjen Jama Cha Gombo Tuji Chedemba Tamje Tembe Sonoma Yede Dishin Shela Cha Zelo Taben de Sha Chewa Jo Given is on the Chido Donamacho was a Jola Cha Zelo Chene Lava Tala Rabdu Nation Gadamba Yeden Gindulanya Cha Zelo the Wachin and Message Kawa Puzo So Rangis in the Yozo de Tene Sanje Karma Rim Yumasa Vachu the Melon Lot at Dinda Decision Sonamandi Tamje Seva Yokobantam Genjan Nada Nada Shiva Lampi Siva Zone one joke show.
To the teacher, the blessed one, one being, full destroyer, completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfecting knowledge and good conduct, Tathāgata, knower of the world, supreme guide of beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and humans, to you the completely and fully awakened one, the blessed one, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya I prostrate my offerings and go for refuge. The teacher, the blessed one, the full destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfecting knowledge and good conduct, Tathāgata, knower of the world, supreme guide of beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and humans, to you the completely and fully awakened one, the blessed one, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the teacher, the blessed one born beyond, the full destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfecting knowledge and in good conduct, Tathāgata, knower of the world, supreme guide of beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and humans, to you the completely and fully awakened one, the blessed one, glorious conqueror. Subdue from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When supreme among humans you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides and said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise then, I prostrate. With pure bodies formed supremely pure, wisdom motion like golden mountain, flame that blazes in the 3 worlds. You know the best, to you I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. You are immaculate, the 3 worlds are not. Incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the teacher having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the one gone to busness I prostrate. The purity which makes one free from attachment, the virtue which frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to that Dharma which pacifies and prostrate. Those who are liberated, who also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the sublime community intending virtue I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a mirage, a flammable lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud. See conditioned things as such. Through these merits, my sentient beings attain rank of all seeing, subdue the foe of foes, and be delivered from motion of suffering, of age and sickness and death.
Sanji Jano, Sanji Jano, Chanju Bando, Dane, Dagin Jiso, Jebe, Sonam, Rana Benja, Sanji, Sanji Jano, Sanji Jano, Chanju Bando, Dagin Jiso, Jebe, Sonam, Rana Benja, Sanji, Sanji Jano, Sanji Jano, Chanju Bando, Dane, Dagin Jiso, Jebe, Sonam, Rana Benja, Sanji, Sanji Jano, Sanji Jano, Chanju Bando, Dane, Dagin Jiso, Jebe, Sonam.
I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Through the merit I create by practicing giving and the other perfections, may I quickly attain the state of Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and Sangha. Through the merit I create by practicing giving and the other perfections, may I quickly attain the state of Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and Sangha. Through the merit I create by practicing giving and the other perfections, may I quickly attain the state of Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings.
Sanji Jumden de Azon, the Shinshivati, Sonanda, Gudum, Gazavan, Chumisa, Severa do Jambazonum Jederanum Jishi, Pijas and Bonum Jedeva, Chanam Jamato, Juyurumbat, Tonami Dimba, Meva, Tebema, Namaka, Shero Sijim, Tonam, Simjetam Jiji, Demba, Chanju, Sembanum Java, Pavia Kazan, Jevo, Yangan and the Vertonjel, Jovan, Jetebe, Ishepatam, Baba Sanjam, Sonam Brata. Yanjamba Guja Tava Chomijibu, Kutumba, the Vatagan, Sudagan, Sumevata Madova Dungan, and number to go, Pumbata, Kananda Medeva Jajan on the Monte, Nation, the Juba, Yozo Donat, and number to Sibala to Chu, the Kim. Ijion the one Devada Majumba, Tadrichum, Sanjum Dena, Yishela, Neva, Young and Yanda Vanyaja Tama never Simjatam Jena, Siva Sala Shubati, Dedame Sanjum Dendi. Kuchiven the Yanda Vanamazo, Vision, Tomaki, Paduki, Tomaki, Hansa. Centers of Mandeva Yozo, Yozo, Yanda, Nebe, Tushavam, Yavatem. Detama Teva Gavan, Sozo, Chimden, the Vasu, Chun, the one with the Rato. Yabrajaman Sobe and Jovachivam, Midimba, the Vadan, the Matemba, Yavachivam. Tawashimbe, Leva Sugar, Tawashuba, Tobashuba, Tamaja, Chacha, the Javasona, Jivision, Jimena, Kundon, Jimena, Juvachimbo, Kangia, the gender was Gabame, Jimma, Chevame, Tombe, Tade de Medja Medjova, Nijisha, and Motoba Sanyaman, Tambata, Charles. So today, before class started, we do Upastika vows. So it's up to individual. Upastika vows says the 5 vows: not killing, not stealing, not sexual misconduct, and the lying, right? So not killing means like if you kill human being directly or indirectly, so then that violates the root of the vows. And stealing means something valuable things, not the leftover foods, right? So valuable things, not stealing, sexual misconduct, sexually kind of conduct with not your wife, right? or someone else's vibe. So, and then big lies that kind of intentionally lying to deceive people, right? By saying I have seen the Buddha, or I have clairvoyance, or this particular deity has talked to me. So, kind of have some kind of the craving for something. So, and then intoxicate, right? So this just 5 vibes, and then this 5 vows.
Who are the other 4?
Oh, Larry was so happy. So,
I'm asking, who are the other 4?
Visualize
One is
giving
enough.
5
I don't
vibes.
need 5 times more problem.
So then there's this called Upasika. Now Upasika with 1 single vows, Upasika with 2 vows, Upasika with 3 vows or 5 vows. So now the best is the Upasika who follows the 5 vows. So it's up to individual. Because so by taking these vows, so Nagarjuna mentioned the imperceptible abstinence vow. Imperceptible action from the abstinence, right? Means the day you took the vows, from that on, right? Even you're sleeping or you're kind of, not paying attention, the virtues, they continuously come with you, right? Every day there's virtuous actions. So out of the strong commitment. Imperceptible, abstinent vows means by committing to do something negative. The day you took the commitment, and tomorrow, if you are doing positive things, still negative action comes with you. Right? It's continuous from that. So this is why the benefit of taking vows. So and then the purpose of the taking vows is to find a way to end the second existence, the end of kind of birth in the second existence, which means to attain the liberation. The purpose of taking vows is that. So and then if you follow this ritual, they say Tsuba Gonsu means the first when you take the vows, from master you take the vows, you call a monk, not masters. Right? Monks, please pay attention to me. Tsuba Gonsu. And then that means my name is, and then until the end of my life, I will take refuge to the Buddha and Dharma and the Sangha. So 3 times of that. So then you will receive Upasika vows. Right? So I think this, his son is always said in Tibetan this way. Tsuba Gonsu. Maybe you want to try to repeat, right? So first I'll say it in English. Tsuba Gonsu means Gonsu means a monk, pay attention to me. Right? Da means my name, right? I am, right? And then from now on until my death, right? The supreme among the 2 legates, the Buddha, so I take refuge, right? And I take refuge to the Dharma, which is supreme among the cessation of the attachment, right? I take refuge to the Sangha, which is supreme among the community. Right? So, Chisi Churban, the Genyan of Song serves. Chisi Churban. So, may I be, how to say, Song serves, may I be become, or may I known as Upasika for my life. Right. So I just, 3 times, Zumba, Gonsu Shu. Before you said, take prostrations. Namo Gurube, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sangaya. Namo Gurube, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sangaya. Namo Gurube, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sangaya. 3 times. Then Zumba Gonsu Sul. Repeat. Zumba Gonsu Sul. Das. So my name, so you say your name. Tu dine sondes. Tu dine sonde. Sonde. Chisi. Soy. Pardu. Gangni namdi. Cho. Sanjela. Gyabsu chiu. Desha tang. Tewa. Namdi cho. Chela. Gyabsu chiu. Cho. Namdi cho. Chela. Gindula. Gyabsu chiu. Das. Again say your name. Chisi Choye Pardu. Chisi Choye Pardu. Genyendo. Zunbe Songdu Su. The first line now. The second, again go back. Zumba Gonsu Su. Da. Say your name. Tun Dine Sonde. Chisi Choye Pardu. Gangye Namji. Cho. Sanjela. Gyabsu Chiu. Desha tang. Tewa Namji. Cho. Chela. Gyabsu Chiu. Cho Namji. Cho. Gindula. Gyabsu Chiu. Da. Say your name. Chisi Choye Pardu. Genyendo. Zunbe Songdu Su. Second, third. When third and the last line, and instead of saying a monk, so then master. Leben Gonsu Su. Leben Gonsu Su. Da, say your name. Tu dine sonde. Chisi Choye Pardu. Gangye Namdi. Cho. Sanjela. Gyabsu Chiu. Desha da Tewa. Namdi Cho. Chela. Gyabsu Chiu. Cho Namdi. Cho. Gindula. Gyabsu Chiu. Da. Say your name. Chisi Choye Pardu. Genyendo. Lebengi. Songdu Su. So then I say Upasika. So now you become Upasika. So, and then this is the that's the vows, and then Genyeji Shibakata, Genyi Sentoma, the Kegi Genyendo, she Doa, the Nyam, Dagi, Genyi, genye ubasika and then the master will say, so today you have received the Upasika's vows, and you have to, there's the benefit from, taking these vows, and at the same time, there's the downfall, kind of, consequences by breaking the vows. And then the way you follow these vows says, so where you follow these vows, seriously taking these vows, like, so you have to kind of look up to the arhats. Like arhats, they have abandoned all these negative actions. Likewise, me too, follow this path, and by taking these vows, I will, you kind of, eventually I will abandon all the afflictive emotions. Right? So, and at the end, my master will say, Tabyenam means, are you ready? Like, or serious? Then you have to say, yes, I am. Right? Genye no bato ba yimba to nyama so no pen chimbo mi jode yime chimbo ju songu be solo ne da choma no so cho nga yi ge pande lu nga yi ge la lo ba de shi no da ja la nyamba ji la sa jesu e jendo ki le ben ju ko so chi dan da ju mi yang so be sanje shi su su bo so jo de do ba da min de shi ju be shi su su bo so jo ba la ro do ba ji wo sa yang la ta da la Jesus. And then this is Yalan Tangbun Di Pakwan Dachuma Loba Jesu. So Jesu Lobo, Jesu Drubu, Jesu Gidos. Like Jesu Lobo means I will follow the study of this. And Jesu Drubu means I will I will gain knowledge from it. Jesu Gido means I will start practicing these 5 vows through this. Yeah. So, and how do you practice? For what purpose you are taking these vows? Like arhat. Like arhat, I am going to practice this, follow these vows, and abandon all the afflicted emotions. Right. So, Jesu Lobo, Jesu Drubo, Jesu Gidos. Lobo means gain knowledge. Drubo means gain realization. Jesu Gido means will practice. It's Tabiano, said you say Lexo, right? Tabiano. So that's it. Yeah. And then this is this Upasika vow says, if you find that you have break the vows, and this Upasika vow says you can retake again and again. So for the monastic vows, there's no repeating. So one time. So Tale Lokushin, so monastic vows is like banana trees. So once give the fruit, and you have end. There's nothing coming from it. Right? So Upasika vows you can take many times. So, so again. I break again, so take again. So yeah, that's what I start here, right? Page number 138 in the Moon Lamp Sutra cited in the compendium of Sutra. One reads, he who acts towards those around him harmful thoughts, he will not be protected by the moral discipline and study. He will not be protected by meditation and solitude, nor will he be protected by giving and venerating the Buddhas. So this is talking about the false, the house, how's that? And the opposite of this kind of the patience, the anger. Anger is very, harmful to oneself. When you generate anger towards others, so says the moral discipline cannot protect you. All the knowledge, this study is not going to work for you, and the meditation, solitude, even the venerating Buddhas is not going to work. So, and here, those around refers to follow monastics, that he cannot be protected by six factors, due to, such as moral discipline means that for him, destruction of the root of the virtue by anger cannot be averted. As to what specific root of the virtue come to be destroyed, this is not explicitly stated in the sutra cited above. However, the guide to the Bodhisattvas, we explains this to be those of generosity, venerating Sugata, so on, while entering the middle way explained, it is those generosity, morality, disciplines. Since Chandrakirti commentary speaks of the collection of the merit, it seems that these does not refer to the root of the virtue consisting in the collection of the realization of selflessness. So other than the realization of emptiness and all the merits that you collected through the virtuous actions can be destroyed, right, by anger. So anger is very, very bad here and there. Because the teaching of the Akshamati Sutra, as quoted in the compendium of sutra, the site simile of drop of water that falls into the great oceans, just as the drop does not dry up until the dawn of the great eons. So the root of the virtues dedicated to the enlightenment do not expire until awakening is attained. Similarly, the adornment of the three sutras cited, simile, right, of transforming 1,000 ounces of base metal into gold within ounces of the mercury elixir known as the gold appearing without the base metal ever consuming the elixir. Like this, it is stated the mercury elixir of the awakening mind cannot be consumed by all the bases of the metal afflictions. So now this is kind of, previously it says anger will destroy the merit other than the wisdom, So now the question is, so in many Mahayana sutras, they mention through kind of, out of Bodhisattva, great compassions, dedicating any kind of merit to the enlightenment for all sentient beings. So then this will kind of, continuously give rise the result, a positive result, until you reach the Buddha. Right? So if this is the kind of, if this is the case, by dedicating for the enlightenment, it won't expire. So how can anger will destroy this? Because it has to stay. It's like a drop of water putting in the oceans. The drop will not be dry up until the whole ocean will kind of, completely kind of dry it. So kind of the way the anger destroy is anger will destroy the fruit of the virtuous actions. Means it will make the virtuous actions, right, not being able to give rise to that virtuous result. So, and then Mahayana Sutra is saying the dedications to the enlightenment, the virtues that are dedicated to the enlightenment for the sake of all sentient beings will not be expire until you reach the enlightenment. Means the kind of virtues that you dedicated for enlightenment for the sake of all sentient beings cannot be destroyed or cannot be expired by giving rise to the result. Right? There is no end of giving rise to the result, right? But continuously giving rise to the result is not going to end the virtues, right? It's the root virtue. Because the root virtue is dedicated to the enlightenment. So I think there's a two different aspects, two different meaning. One, by kind of the effect of the result not going to exhaust the cause. The cause can be exhausted, cause can be destroyed by anger. Right. So the question, you understand, right? The previously says the anger will destroy all the virtues other than the wisdom realizing emptiness. And then the question comes, in the Mahayana Sutra, many times it's stated that the virtues actions that are dedicated for the enlightenment will not be expired until you reach enlightenment. So, and then you are saying the anger will destroy virtues actions other than wisdom. So how can that be? Right? And then there's, this means the virtues dedicated enlightenment is not going to expire, means it not going to expire by the result. Result many times, about 1,000 times, until you reach, you can consume the result. That by consuming the result, not going to destroy the cause.
The cause of enlightenment.
Yeah, mother, she can give birth to child, right? 2, 4, 6, 7. So more babies won't kind of kill the mother, not going to kill the mothers. Mm-hmm. So how many times again you can consume the result of the virtues that are dedicated for the enlightenment endlessly. You can consume it, right? by consuming the result of the virtue, not going to end the virtue itself. But now anger can destroy, means anger can make it, dry up all the result. Right. So it's
But not the cause.
not the cause. The cause, it will make the cause disabled. Right. So the cause is there, but this cause has no potential. It's not going to give rise the result, because the anger make it weaker.
So if that cause is been dedicated to enlightenment, can it still be weakened?
Yeah, the anger still can weaken, because the anger can destroy the virtues other than the wisdom. Wisdom realizes the emptiness.
So it can't
So
destroy the
yeah.
result?
It can destroy the result of the virtues that are dedicated to the enlightenment. Right. But the virtues that are dedicated to the enlightenment won't destroy by the consuming the result. So you get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the Lama Sutra says the virtues that you dedicated to enlightenment will never expire. So, and this is the one line, and the other side is the anger will destroy, right, all the virtues other than the wisdom realizing emptiness. So people see there's contradictions. So here's it, there's no contradictions. And this line is talking about so there's no such thing there's no the root, the virtues cannot be destroyed by consuming the result of that virtue. So one virtue continuously you can consume the result until you reach enlightenment. So it does not mean anger cannot destroy that virtue. Do you hear the baby snoring? So yeah, that's the kind of some find is a contradict. Anger destroy, and then it cannot be it cannot be ended by consuming the result. Right? So it's an example like the elixirs, the mercury elixir can turn all the the metals into golden. So the metal cannot be destroyed, the mercury elixirs. So they're saying, consumed by all the bases of the mental afflictions. If one thinks, relying on such statement, that the awakening mind and the root of the virtues sustained by it. So if one thinks that relying on such statement, that awakening mind, the root of the virtues sustained by it, right? And those virtues, the root dedicated towards awakening, cannot be destroyed by anger. So what if one thinks that? One would mistake it. For it has been stated that even by virtues, root of the great Bodhisattvas can be destroyed. Thus, the meaning of the first sutra cited above is that these roots of the virtue are not exhausted because of their because of their fruitions, right? It does not mean that they cannot be, eroded by anger. And the meaning of the second sutra, that the afflictions cannot be totally annihilated, the awakening mind in the way in which, on the basis of awakening mind, the affliction can be eliminated. So the anger can make the kind of, make the awakening mind by kind of, damage the giving rise the result. But the anger is not going to eliminate the root of the virtues, or particularly here the root of virtues, the awakening mind or the great compassions. But anger can destroy the fruit of the great compassion, fruit of the awakening mind, because it will kind of, so that's why the Bodhisattvas angry to another Bodhisattvas. This will kind of destroy the virtues they accumulated 100 years. And the Bodhisattvas, the kind of the lower state of Bodhisattvas, angry to the higher state of Bodhisattva, 1,000 years of virtues. All these Bodhisattvas virtues are dedicated to enlightenment, right? So, this anger has no kind of ability to destroy the awakening mind, has no ability to destroy the compassion, right? Totally annihilate the awakening minds. Yeah, appreciation. Regarding that praise, destroying the root of the virtues, some assert that it means the potency of the virtues to swiftly produce the effect is destroyed. The production of their fruit is postponed. So some master thinks that, right? They interpret in this way, destroying the kind of virtue means postponing the effect. And the fruit of the anger, like brought forth in its place. So like, putting the gap in it, right? So if the words awakening mind has the many good result, and then one anger will kind of make the gap. So anger will produce its own effect, and it will postpone the result of the awakening mind, and the result of the compassion, the result of the generosity, the discipline. Right? This is what master thinks. So here, Chandrakirti and the Lama Tsongkapha is saying, no, it will completely destroy the effect. Right? It's not postponing it. And the fruit of the anger and the like are brought forth in place, but it is not the case. They say that their fruit cannot be ripened later on if those root virtues meet the appropriate conditions. So even there's appropriate condition, corporate conditions, is not going to give rise to the result, right? Make it ripen. For if no mundane path can eliminate the seed of their corresponding object of relinquishment, how can the afflictions eliminate the seed of the virtues? This would be impossible, they assert. So the other master thinks that if the anger is not going to eliminate the great compassions, the awakening mind, and then there's no reason to think that this anger will destroy the result of the awakening mind and great compassion. So therefore they kind of concluded that, so since the anger is not going to destroy awakening mind and great compassions, and moral actions or generosity. So how can this anger can destroy the fruit? Because cause is there. So here they're saying, because the anger can make the cause, not being able to give rise to the result. That is here the interpretation of the destroying the virtue. Right? It's not rooting out the root of the virtue. It is making the cause to not being able to give rise to the result. So yeah, there's no. So this would be impossible. They said there is no logical entailment in this reasoning. Take the example of non-virtues that have been purified by ordinary beings through applying 4 powers in antidote practice. 4 powers in the antidote practice, so you can eliminate negative actions that are committed in the past. So this mundane path, this mundane practice, this does not eliminate the seed, right? And yet it remains impossible for karma, thus purified, to produce ripening effect. So, like confessions, confessions which 4 powers in the antidote practice can kind of destroy the non-virtuous actions that committed in the past, right? Which means the house of 4 powers in antidote practice will make that negative action to not being able to give rise to the result. So that's why it's confessions, purification means that. Right? So 4 powers in the antidote is not going to eliminate non-virtuous actions that you have committed in the past, because the 4 powers in the antidote of practice has it doesn't contain the wisdom realizing emptiness. Is not going to be a the antidote to eliminating the non-virtues, but it will make non-virtue actions to not being able to give rise to the result. So this does not eliminate the seed, yet it remains impossible for karma, thus purified, produce the ripening effect. Even if suitable conditions are later met, even there's a corporate conditions.
So the anger does exactly the same way it functions similar to this.
Yeah. So this is like, when you put the seed in the soil, so if you stop watering, right? So seed is just there, right? So it's not going to be as give rise to the result. It's not sprouting from it, right? So this is like a confession is like that, and the similar anger has this quality to make the virtuous actions to stop giving the result.
Continuously.
Yeah. So then our anger is depending on how powerful that is. So ordinary anger to the Bodhisattvas. Bodhisattvas, the equal Bodhisattvas. Bodhisattvas, the highest level of the Bodhisattvas. So that makes the difference, right? If, say, the ordinary people angry with Bodhisattva means and now 1,000 years of a collection of merit can be diminished. So,
What does the 4 powers mean?
4 powers means the powers from the object. When you do the purifications, the power of the object means power of by relying on what you do the purifications. Some people by relying on the Buddha's faith in the Buddha, so that kind of helps you to purify the negativities. And some the practitioners, by relying on the wisdom, realizing emptiness, and they purify the negativities. Right? So danger thoughts, the object, the power of the object. And then power of the, regretness. So how serious that you regret about your action that's done, right? The power of the regretness. And sunji minyambos. And with that, kind of, in what way you are purifying the negativities, the power of that, by doing the prostrations, by doing the meditations, by doing the, kind of the service to the people. So in what way? The way you purifies, right? So thank you, give it up. And then there's a, number sunjimetok means. So how serious that you are, you think that it shouldn't be due again, right? So these are the powers of the, to purify the negativities, right? So the object of the powers, in this text mentioned many things, like sometimes the Buddha, sometimes the wisdom realization, sometimes the compassions, right? So by relying on that, you're trying to purify, and you have a strong kind of, the regretness, right? You're regretful of the what you have done, right? The action that, and then how serious that you're not going to, how serious, but not, you are not going to commit that again, right? And then in the way you kind of purifies through the recitations, the prostrations, or kind of giving service to the other peoples, right? Sentient beings. So yeah, this is the, by that you can make the kind of negative actions. You can make negative action disable, kind of weakening. By that, it won't be able to kind of produce the result. So here the saying, even negative actions meet with corporate conditions, right? So it will never give rise to the result. Now, destroying and eliminating, or kind of eliminating, abandoning. There's many terms. So sometimes abandon and eliminating is there's a two different meaning in it. Abandoning means by applying the remedy, right? The remedy. So remedy can be like, for example, mundane path. So mundane path means the path that does not include wisdom realizing emptiness, does not include the great compassion, Bodhisattvas, only single point meditations, right? So these meditation can be applied as a remedy for the kind of anger and the desire, the craving, and the things. But this path never be the antidote to eliminate, right, to eliminate the seed of the afflictions. But it's only remedies, just kind of, it will kind of weaken the, opposite, or kind of. So remedy, antidote, and from the remedy and antidote is two different things. Therefore, abandoning and eliminating is a two different thing. Right? Abandoning means you can, like, when mother get angry, she abandoned her child for 1 day or 1 hour, right? But does that mean she will not going to eliminate? She will not going to say, "You are not my son at all." So the abandoning is not necessarily rooting out or removing it totally. So the eliminating means through applying the antidote means you you have applied direct opposite the opposite the power to completely destroy that. So that is the antidote. Right? So this antidote only you can find it in the compassions, in the bodhisattvas, and the wisdom realizing emptiness. So this is why anger can make the virtuous actions to stop giving rise to the result. Anger is not being able to destroy the virtuous actions. For example, when purified ordinary beings through applying the 4 powers and antidote practice, this does not eliminate the seed. Yet it remains impossible for karma, thus purified, to produce the ripening effect, even if suitable conditions are later met. Similarly, one who attained the peak of forbearance stages of the path of preparation. So the path of preparations within the path of preparations are divided in Che, Zemo, Seba, 4 divisions within the path of preparations. Right? Che means the heat of the path of preparations, and peak of the path of preparations, and forbearance of the path of preparations, and the Chejo means, I don't know. Chejo means maybe maybe I would say supreme of the path of preparations. And right after that, then path of seeing, noble path started. So here, forbearance means is not talking about patience, right? So within the forbearance stage of the path of preparation has not yet eliminated the seed of the wrong view or the causes for taking birth in the lower realm. And yet it remains impossible for wrong views to arise or for one to take birth in the lower realms. So when you the second stages of the path of preparations. So as I mentioned, path of preparations divided into four, right? And the second, when you reach the second stages of the path of preparations, so you have make impossible for falling into lower realm, but you haven't eliminated the seed of the lower realm. So seed is still there, but it is impossible for one who has reached this state and falling into lower realm. Right? And this, at the second stage of the path of preparations, one who reached that, it is impossible for them any wrong views occurring in their mind. Right? But it hasn't been able to overcome the seed of the wrong view. So this is talking about the it's the remedy and antidote, making with distinctions between remedy and antidote. So the second stages of the path of preparations is the remedy to kind of, to destroy the falling into lower realm, the result of falling into lower realm. And the second stage of the path of preparation is also a remedy for the kind of, the wrong view, but it's not the antidote. It hasn't been the antidote, right? To kind of, to stop the seed of the wrong view, to eliminate the seed of the lower realm. So if the virtue side, you can do that, and also a negative, like for example, anger, strong anger. Ordinary persons, the angry towards the Bodhisattvas. This ordinary person, angry towards the Bodhisattvas, that anger has power to stop the virtuous action to give rise to the result. But this anger has never been the antidote to the virtuous actions. Right. So basically trying to describe destroying the virtue, right? Anger destroy the virtue means, and like when you use the hammer to destroy the kind of table or cup, it will totally destroy it, so make it non-existent. Right? So here the destroy here means is not completely destroying, is not going to make the other side non-existent. So and then what does that mean? That destroying it, destroying it means it will destroy the fruit of that. So the kind of the setting example impossible. The second stages of the path preparations, kind of the name of that is forbearance. It's the stages of path preparations. Peaks stages of path preparations. Right. So furthermore, Sutra cited in the commentary on the Treasury Abhidharma states, as for karma's fruitions, those heavier, those closer in time, those most habitual, and those committed earlier. Among all karma, these are rapid, reaped first. Ngama. The heaviest and the closer in the time, most habitual, and the committed earliest. So among all karma, these are reaped first. As stated here, whatever karma happened to be reaped first, virtues or non-virtues, this blocks the space for other karmic fruit to be reaped. But this alone is not reason enough to say that it destroys the virtues or non-virtues. So it's kind of, it's postponing, right? The postponing is not destroying here. Here, the destroy means really destroying, making it non-functional. Virtue non-virtue. Nowhere has this situation been explained in such terms. Had it been so, all the other powerful non-virtuous karma should also have been described as the destroyers of the virtue's root. In any case, the Order commentaries. Order commentary means?
I think it's when they give a commentary on their own text.
Okay, yeah. Order commentary. To the essence of the middle way, explain that in the both these two cases, cleansing of the non-virtuous through application of the four powers and the destruction of the root of the virtue by wrong view and harmful intent, the karma are akin to damage the seed from which no sprout can emerge. So, which means it's making kind of, sprout. Yeah. Even when suitable corporate conditions are met, that is, they remain incapable of producing the effect, even if they later met the conditions. So, Bodhisattvas, for example, in the path of accumulations, and he is very close. Soon he is going to reach the path of preparations. Right? He's going to reach the path of preparation very soon. But one instant of the anger towards the higher Bodhisattvas, now he has to start from the beginning. So all the virtues he collected, maybe 100 years, will be a kind of, it's destroyed. So that's why in sutra says armor from the beginning, right? So you have to kind of armor yourself from the beginning. Your whole, shields is destroyed. Right? So this whole talking about how dangerous the anger is. So attachment is kind of more soft than the anger. The attachment can make you unhappy and unstable, but not like anger. Anger will destroy it. So distraction of the virtue by anger does not mean that the instant anger has arisen, virtues become non-existent in the mental continuum of that person. Rather, it injures the virtues' capacity to produce their effect. Right. So here too, the sin's 3 degrees of the annihilation, small, medium, and great, are described to be extent root of the virtue has been injured. To the extent it is made incapable of bearing its fruits. Thus, there are two ways can inflict an injury. One is the destruction of the power to swiftly give rise to the new level of path, and other is to harm the arising of the fruit, such a birth in the higher realms. So Bodhisattvas, has to go back from the beginning. And there's, people say, normal people says, I'm going to start from the scratch again, right? So all this, they try and failed, and then you go back. So Bodhisattvas is like that. Ordinary people, so anger destroying not just virtues, and that caused kind of propel you in hell realm. So the path of Bodhisattva who has reached the path of preparations, especially the forbearance stage of path of preparation, is impossible they fall in the lower realm. So what they do is they have to kind of start from the beginning. Yeah, you see the people standing on the line in coffee shop. So when you say your credit card is insufficient,
Oh, God.
so you have to go back. So credit insufficient, so no useful. So, then again, you have to go back to the bank and just. So yeah. So being angry towards the Bodhisattvas, insulting them, disparaging, right? Disparaging them out of negative motivations are described in the compendium of sutras, limitless terms of their ill consequences. Furthermore, the consequences are the same regardless of whatever one has recognized one's object to be bodhisattvas, and whether one's ground for being angry are valid. In view of this, we must strive with all our effort to prevent anger in general, and in particular, anger directed towards those who are engaged in the monastic life as well as toward the bodhisattvas. So it's a kind of power of the objects that the one you are angry with. Right? So even in the ordinary life, the out of anger says something to friends, right? Or out of anger, the same kind of same kind of how say the degree of the intensity of the anger, friends and mothers make big difference, right? The friends may be less, to the mother is worse. Right? So Akshagarbha Sutra stated that root of the infractions will destroy virtue that have been generated in the past. So compendium of the training sutra states that gazing at the household's life while yearning for gift and honor, swelling with manifest conceit, and forsaking the Dharma are all acts through which virtues generated in the past will be consumed and virtuous activities will fail to increase. So I think, so this is really kind of, so why people may think, why ordinary people, right, kind of, motivated by this kind of strong intensity of the anger and say something harsh word or insult to Bodhisattvas. So what is the reason for that? Some people think, how is it possible? So then there's like the gazing at the household life while yearning for gift and honor. So for the public, what do you call it? Like a fame and the out of kind of the pride. So you may feel that, or he is kind of he has deprived me, or he has kind of if someone praise the other side and you think that, oh, is making me lower, right? Because this is kind of household life or yearning for gift and honor. Because whoever has this strong desire, craving for the kind of how to say reward and honor, so this is very, very possible. There's many chances for them to get angry or dislike even the person you know he is the great person, because your craving for this reward and honor is so kind of overpower on you. So even you know there's a Bodhisattva, or he is the great respected person, he is the decent person, so you don't care because this side is so more heavier. So the manifest conceit. This is also one of the major cause for anger and many of the kind of so means like out of means you have how's that what macro view on your quality. Macro view or something. A small quality, oversize your kind of your knowledge and your grade, right? So you know something, so but you kind of oversized of that quality, so you can only see your own quality. So I think that is also the one of the major cause for not happy with how's that when you see someone's kind of more knowledgeable than you, someone more look good than you, someone who's like that.
That's what the manifest conceit.
Yeah, manifest conceit. So remember idea. Some people yet this kind of I don't know why, but some people really they really sees they don't really examine themselves. They are told by someone, or you have this such quality skills. So they haven't really discovered yet, but others impose on you, you accept it. So I have this skill, right? And then you just kind of make it kind of increase the size of it. So now you in your mind you only see this skill, your own qualities. So this is kind of moving like it. And compared to the human being and God has the kind of when the kind of the God beings, when they see human being, they automatically they have this manifest conceit. So when they spells bad, very small, so they don't have any kind of how say they have light, they look good, their size bigger, kind of so yeah, there's automatic manifest conceit, or it's kind of arrogant, and arrogant that is born from haughtiness. So haughtiness. So in that in the lyric in this is called Simjun Japa. The Simjun Japa means the fat mental factor, something that's very big, like oversized, like haughtiness. The forsaking Dharma are all act through. Forsaking Dharma is also, so when you have too much emphasis on one particular traditions or the lineages, and so because you have so much emphasis on that and so much focus on this,
and you have some kind of, you have built the tendencies more towards the one lineage or one traditions, and then you will kind of generate sense of disliking on other traditions, other cultures, right? So there is chances to abandoning dharma, like say I follow the Gelug, so Gelug is the best, and you too much emphasize on that, and that makes you criticize on other traditions. So because other traditions also the genuine teaching from the Buddha. So when you abandon them, you dislike them, that will make abandoning the act of abandoning Dharma. So, and Chila Pechu means kind of, and also kind of the stinginess of sharing the knowledge and disliking the other traditions because you're so much attached to the one traditions. So these are very similar. So these are kind of, will act like abandoning the Dharma. There's during the Bodhisattva Muni, I think one of the bhikshu, when I think he born with this kind of mental, very kind of, the dullness. He was very dull and couldn't really memorize just one stanzas. The whole day he recited, he couldn't memorize. So, and during the Buddha, so every morning, and Buddha make him kind of, sweeping around the temple, the monasteries. And then while he was doing this, and Buddha will give one kind of teachings, one sentence, you recite this and contemplate on that. So he was keep doing that. He was the most stupid in this disciple. So the one day he gained arhat. So everybody was very kind of shocked and very surprised. How can this kind of the adult monk he attained arhat before us? We were much smarter than him. So then Buddha told the story of his life. So this life he was able to attain the arhat because once he was the great scholar, many lives before, he knows all three Pitakas. But because of his stinginess on sharing the knowledge, he kind of because he doesn't want someone more knowledgeable than him. So that makes him fall into continuously is abandoning Dharma. He's continuously born one of his life is the pig herder. And then second, he born in kind of in the formless realm. So they become very dull. Right? So the seed that he planted for the lives before, many lives before, that kind of make him able to receiving the teaching from the Buddha and attain the arhat. So forsaking Dharma means kind of similar, as you have too much attachment, right? One side of kind of one traditions, one masters, one monasteries. Right? Yeah, some some monks, they all talk about their own monastery all the time. So my monasteries, the other monasteries, they don't care. So, so these are can be kind of the cause which may give rise this kind of thought, abandoning dharma. Like sometimes people who study well and Sutrayana, and then because he know much about Sutrayana, he hasn't have any knowledge from the Tantrayana, and then he disliked the Tantrayana. I say, oh, Tantrayana is nothing. It's not a Buddha Dharma. So it's also kind of become the cause for abandoning Dharma. Like Vasubandhu's, he abandoned the Mayana. So Vasubandhu says Mayana is like a scar, namke means the fruit of the Mayana is like a sky flower. It sounds good, it imagines good, but it's impossible. So in this way, he abandoned it. Yeah, he created the action of abandoning Dharma. Eventually, he was able to understand the Mayana Sutra, and he followed Mayana, generating compassion and bodhicitta. And he was very seriously, he was so regretful what he said earlier. One day he was almost cut his tongue. So this tongue. So yeah, this so the immediate cause, the grazing and household life, while yearning for gift and honor, swelling with manifest conceit, forsaking dharma, are all acts through which virtues generate and the past will be consumed, and the virtuous activity will fail to increase. So therefore, recognizing the condition that destroy the root of the virtue, we must especially strive to relinquish them. What I have presented here is but brief summary. One should definitely read the compendium of the sutra and the compendium of the training. Rejecting anger on the basis of contemplating the numerous faults of intolerance.
The compendium of sutra is the one that from Nagarjuna, the one that.
Compendium sutra is Ngombakudu Asangas. Yeah. Labtu, I think, compendium training. Labtu maybe training is Nagarjuna. Ngombakundu, Labakundu. Yeah, rejecting anger on the basis of contemplating the numerous faults of intolerance. This, what do you call it? Importance, right? Caused by intolerance may damage the oneself alone. The potent force that is as the absence of compassion, however, damage both self and other. This is as follows. Importance. So, in the weak person's, right, his anger will damage himself, right? Even the person who is kind of more powerful, so that will damage both oneself and others. So now the contemplating numerous faults of the intolerance, the wrath, disfigures of your face. This is talking about the the one of the faults of the anger. So makes you look bad, disfigures your face, and leads you to what is unwholesome. Unwholesome. It robs, right, by mind of the judgment, what is the right and wrong. It will destroy the wisdom, being able to discriminate right and wrong. So intolerance is swift to throw you to the lower realms. So midu suzu shujin tamban liberties. What is lead you to what is unwholesome. So it's kind of unwholesome means. So first says wrath disfigures your face, right? When you get angry, you look bad, and it leads you to what is unwholesome means you will be companioned by the bad people, right? Negative. So it will attract bad people, right? So it will destroy your wisdom, that being wisdom that is being able to discriminate what is right and wrong. So, and finally, intolerance is swift to throw you in the lower realms. So this, the faults of the intolerance. The instant it arises, the wrath disfigures your face and leads you to what is unwholesome. And it robs your mind of the judgment that helps evaluate what is right to do, what is wrong to do. This intolerance, anger, is swift to throw you to the lower realm after the death. So contemplate these all consequences, and with thought, I will never give any opportunity to anger, so prevent anger. So this chapter is saying anger is very bad. Yeah. Or every time is you have right to be angry.
So Geshe-la, that means that giving opportunity to anger is acting upon. It's different if you see anger but don't act upon it, right? Like if you notice, like I'm angry, but you use forbearance, like that's.
Yeah, it's kind of the anger is the inner state of kind of the mental state.
Mm.
So now anger can be the kind of, so there's here intended kind of actions like anger with your face expressions, anger with your body expressions, anger with the verbal expressions, anger with eye round. So these can be stopped even there is anger in the mental state. So by stopping that as some kind of benefit, being able to restrain that kind of so there's the it's a benefit. It's also kind of gives you kind of the more positive habitude. So continuously doing that. Right. So sometimes in Tibetan we are saying, if anger burning from from your stomach, don't let smoke out. So sometimes, those very so I think the main thing here is right from the beginning, before the anger spark, right? You have to kind of find a way to cool it down, right? And to do that, you have to know what caused the anger. So anger is it kind of arises or standing up on the two kind of basis. One, the negative projections, right? Negative projections. One, unpleasant state of mind. So when these two wires connected, so anger will light up. So you can see before you project negative on others, what makes you project, because unpleasant state of mind. You accept some kind of unpleasant discomfort, annoyed, irritated, right? So that makes you kind of the imposes on other with negative characteristic. So from the beginning, there's an unpleasant state of mind, and you have to try to kind of find a way to calm or bring peace in your mind. So when your mind is more peace and more calm, and you is automatically stop the projecting negative characteristic on others. So if you are not able to, if you fail to kind of stop, right? If you fail to cool down the unknowingness or unpleasant state of mind, and you also fail to projecting negative characteristic on others, and only the kind of there's one thing that you can do is you can not let the smoke out. Don't eye rolling. Like just so people can understand now he's angry. Every time he's do this, he's not happy. When the politician smiles, that's very dangerous. So I think to bear in mind that because of the kind of you have to have fear of the consequences of the anger. So that is the reason that you can practice, right? You can at least stop kind of negative reactions. So this is like, you can stop the fire spreading on others' house, right? If you stop that, and then you can work on your own house to cool it down, right? Or you want to, from the beginning, you prevent any fire on your house. Right? So yeah, so prevent angers. Appropriateness of the cultivating forbearance. I'll just read this line here. This is twofold: contemplating the numerous quality of the forbearance, and a summary with advice to cultivating the forbearance. Contemplating the numerous quality of the forbearance. if the above are the fault, intolerance, what are the quality of the opposite? Opposite, right? Forbearance. But forbearance brings the quality opposite to those just described. Forbearance makes you attractive and dear to the sublime one. So which means the anger will attract it, negative people. Forbearance attractive because it makes you look good, and so the noble beings, the Bodhisattvas, they will be pleased by your actions, and then local deity, the spirit, become more friendly to you. You become wise in knowing what is appropriate and what is not. Afterward, you gain birth as a deva or a human, and it has to secure the exhaustion of the negative karma. So the patient means is the patient is the foundation of the all to grow all the good qualities. Right? Sometimes we say Shiva is like, when the farmers, they know this, before they start growing this putting the seed in the field. So where they work on equal the soil, right? So this is like the patient, like all the lands are equal, soft, right? Moisturized. Now it's ready to plant the seed. So when you plant the seed, and the seed will grow up very soon. Right? So if the lands are not balanced, what do you call?
Not plowed or like?
Yeah.
Okay.
So anger is like that. Anger is always the earthquake. So okay, so stop here. Any questions? No questions?
I guess one.
Sometimes I think my practice is going to the beginning of the line over and over.
You have insufficient card.
Oh my God. Someone keeps cutting in front of them.
So, what do you call it? With the freeway, someone cut in the front.
Yeah.
So,
I'm not cutting. Maybe I get angry at the people who cut sometimes.
because you have to know that those people who cut are more busier than you. Maybe your car is too slow. You have to make sure that you have look on the sign. 65, just 70, go 70.
I'm not getting a Tesla.
Okay. Chanju Simja Rinpoche, Madhya Banga, Jeju, Jeva Nyamba, Mewa Nyam, Kone Konda Purus, Tonya Tawa Rinpoche, Madhya Banga, Jeju, Jeva Nyamba, Mewa Nyam, Kone Konda Purus, Pama Simja Tamjen, Dadan Denju, Ngendro Tamja Tato Tong, Chanju Simba Kana Suju, Tada Gunja, Molon Juju, Karera Rogo Vision, Nazo Pendan de Woman,
I forgot one thing. Auspicious sign for today's class. Pusonsomanga was a year with the genus to Yokobocho, Sanja Pemantamakin, Tiene what the Vechora Miju, Genus, the father Miju, Children of the Tiene Jidenga, but as in Yavo, the Newton, the children to Batashi, Bedon, Oman Juju. So Jechoran was the Vegeta, Tiene Jidenga, but I just somehow saw the children in the middle of the Sinjet and the Rangaragami, Jejero show. Okay.
May the precious body mind not yet on rising grow. May the bone have no decline but increase forever. May the precious mind realizing emptiness not yet on rising grow. May the bone have no decline but increase forever. Due to all these merits, may all father and mother sentient beings have all the happiness. May all lower realms be empty forever. Wherever there are bodhisattvas, may all their prayers be accomplished immediately. In the sacred land surrounded by snow mountains, you are the source of all benefit and happiness. O powerful Chandrakirti Jinjatsu, remain in this world until samsara ends.
Next Sunday, no class.
Oh, next Sunday, no class. We are celebrating Easter. Hunting Easter.
I don't celebrate Easter, so I'm coming to class.
Right? Yeah, that's right. He doesn't